and I reached out to a couple of people, and a friend of mine told me he saw it on Netflix.
Hey, can you see
Hey,
me
there's
now?
the queen.
Hey, Tony.
Sorry about that. This is the first one me using, so I couldn't figure out how to add. I saw y'all talking, but I couldn't figure out how to add me. So yeah,
because we would have kept on going on. We were just starting to talk about some film stuff as it was.
I know. Okay, I think now I'm just trying to make sure. Go to your Facebook page and tell me if you can see each other.
Well, that's the thing. When you say go to our Facebook page, I was trying to get. I have my phone
Okay,
here.
go to my page then. Go to my page and see it, and then copy paste it to your page.
All right, hold up, wait a minute. Technical. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, and there were two other people that were supposed to be joining us, but it looks like it's not going to allow them to join us.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's going to be just who arrived early. Oops. Okay. Now let me try YouTube.
Oh yeah, it's going now.
Okay.
I guess.
All righty. So I think so we are live, correct?
Correct.
All righty. So I'm gonna do a couple of things here. Hold on. I don't know if this will work either, but hopefully we are okay. If not, I will add them in at a later time. So, my phone is going crazy all of a sudden. So sorry, guys. I do not know what's happening here, but let me get this going here. Tell me what you see. Can you see me? Can you see everything on Facebook? Are we good?
Yeah. Okay, I'm still trying to figure that out now.
Okay, Marcia, let me know when you got your side done. Then we will definitely go ahead and get started.
Okay, so what do I need to do now, Tony? What do I need to do?
Just go to my page and then copy the link to your page so that it can go live on your page as well.
Okay, so the link that I came in on, is that what I need to do? That link?
Just go to my page on my Facebook page, and you'll see our face streaming. Hi, Sugar. She got her Rick Grimes hat on. I see.
Well, him. That's my boy. That's my boy.
Is that your boy? Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw all that pretty hair, but I forgot about you having all that pretty hair.
He said, you're going live? Who you going live with? I said, you know that lady I told you I worked on? She's a writer, director. He's like, oh, you think I can say hi? I said, well, it's a live stream, so I'm not sure. And he popped in. I said, well, come on and say hi. So this is my boy Kabir.
Hello.
Step in and say hello.
Hey, Kabir, how are you?
Hey,
How's everything?
Hello.
Kabir's a creative cat. He's a creative cat as well. He wants to be a writer, director, as well as a musician and things. So I said, oh, okay, cool.
That's what I'm talking about. Do that. Okay, Marcia, I'm going to send a link in your inbox.
Okay, that will help. Okay.
No worries. We're going to do this. Marcia. Okay.
I think there's a little delay on the Facebook as far as from what we're doing and what's going on, but
that is correct. There is a delay. So what I need to do, because there was 3 other people that were supposed to chime in with us, but it's not allowing them to be invited. So we're going to do this session, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to do a session with them. I just want to send them a quick note so they'll know what we're doing.
Cool.
All right, let's see here.
Okay, you guys can start introducing yourself while I'm doing this part so that those who are watching us stream will be able to know your names, your pages where they can find you, and just a little bit about your acting background. One person at a time, don't talk over each other. And then when you're done, then I'll chime in. By that time, I should be done typing into them.
Raj, I'm sure you're going to let ladies go first.
All right.
I knew we were going there, Cal.
Great minds think alike.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Jones Cross, and I am an actress. I'm also a writer, and I have been working with Tony Brown for wow, I guess wow, how
About
many
7 or 8
years,
years.
Tony? About
Oh,
seven or
about
8 years,
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that. But I have had an opportunity to work with Tone in several both feature films as well as short films, and I've also done some other films on the side with some other producers and directors. Some of the films that I've done with Tone are Rough Patch Twisted Fate, which was the first film I actually worked with Tone on, and that was
Yay.
wonderful. Playing the role of Miss Cole, and you'll see one of my fellow actors who you'll see a little bit later on. We had a couple of scenes together, which was pretty cool. Um, I also did one of the short films that I really wish we were able to do a little bit more with. It was My Mother Jane, which really, Tony, I never had a chance to tell you this, but even after My Mother Jane, I actually kind of had to live My Mother Jane through my mom.
Well,
And
I'm living it now, so I understand.
yeah, okay, all right. So I was beginning to live it a little bit before that, but I could probably, if we did My Mother Jane again, I could probably really do a whole lot more with it, just based on some of the experiences I had with my mom. Um,
Okay.
and I've just had a really one thing I love about working with Tone
Oh,
is that it's she gives you the opportunity. She tells you what the character is about, but she gives you an opportunity to really embrace that character, and that's what I enjoy. What I've really enjoyed about working with her on a number of different things. I'm not giving it justice right now. As sure as we get along through this time, I can talk a little bit more about some of the other things, but I want to give my other fellow people who are on a chance to say something. So.
Hey, Raj, you want to go age before beauty or beauty before age?
Well, you win both ways. What? That is not even fair. I mean, Cal, go ahead, brother.
I guess we would go age before beauty. Hey, how you doing? My name is Cauthen. My prayers go out to you and your families who are in this quarantine and the things that we're going through. This may become a new normal. So I just want to say, my prayers to you and your family and friends that may be affected. Um, I've been acting since 1990, so we're in our 30th year here. And I've done a lot of things that I'm very proud of, and Tone gave me an opportunity that gave me a chance to really get back into acting and do some things. So hats off to you, Tone. You know how much I care about you and our relationship, and I'm just happy to be here. I've had an opportunity to work with both of these fine actors and actress. And producer slash makeup artist slash cook slash editor slash producer, a woman of all hats, Tone Brown. So I just thank you for the opportunity to be here.
okay.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And like Cal said, we're going through a very interesting time in our lifetime, so to speak. And I'm keeping my mind optimistically open that certain things on certain magnitudes, whether they be, let's say, unnaturally propagated or propagated, are for the betterment of humanity. That's my optimistic underlying hope for all. And I wish all the best that are going through harder times than others. But with that said, jumping in, thank you so much. Tone and I worked a while ago. It was cool. She's a one woman show, if I could say that. Sound, lighting, editing, directing, writing, rewriting, producing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
an industry in itself, but then to have someone take the gumption initiative to not stop and push with their creative prowess, as you've done, Tone, I would definitely commend and give you credit for that. With that said, I have worked with Cal before, and right before you jumped on, Tone, we were talking about a trip to Jamaica, which is a cool little movie that we did. And it's on Netflix now, he was saying. So I was like, oh, cool, something to watch later on. Great. But yeah, I've been acting, but entertainment has been in my blood probably since the age of 5 years old. And it was with music initially. And I pursued that for quite many years until I had a child and I had to get a real job. quote unquote. But because I think if you've been blessed with whatever creative energies it may be, whether it's writing, directing, producing, videography or acting, anything, music, drawing, makeup, it's all art. And if you have that impetus or that little above the norm gift it's hard for you not to pursue it in some form or fashion. And so acting came into my world roughly 7-8 years ago, and it was a big blessing because I was getting not necessarily chemically offline, but I wasn't aligned, not being able to do my creative follow through and pursue creative energies like I was when I was full part in the music industry. So acting came in like a champion. And when they say, the bug bites you, it does. And I was bit hard. And even if I want to, I cannot stop wanting to be different characters and realize different people's writing intentions and try to bring that to life. It's just, to me, it's a beautiful art and world to be in. And I'm glad to be here with you all, of course. And as long as God gives me breath, I hope to put something out that makes someone think or someone smile or someone cry, whatever emotion that we as actors try to bring to life.
Awesome. We there?
I'll drink some
absolutely.
Pinot.
No more.
Love it. Well, I'm Tone Brown. I'm the filmmaker, director, all jacks of trades that they're talking about. And I've been wanting to do a group session, but I wanted to do it like a roundtable live, kind of like Hollywood Reporter. I really love that show, and I love the opportunity it gives mainstream actors. So I thought it would be awesome if we can do that for independent indie actors as well. But with my schedule and time and everything that I'm involved in, it just did not give me that opportunity. But I thought, well, since we're sitting still, we can't act, we can't film, we can't do anything. I thought this would be a great opportunity for all of us to kind of chime in and share with those who follow your pages as well as my pages. So I have a little bowl of questions. And these are questions that have been given to me actually over the years, to be honest with you. When people, post on my page questions or they send inboxes of questions, I went through and just kind of pulled those questions out. And I'm going to try to address as many as we can during this session. And then seeing that it's only the four of us, when we get done, I'm going to keep going. And I have another group of actors that are kind of waiting to chime in. I thought we all could do it together, but it's not allowing their invite. So I sent them a message and let them know once we done here, then we'll just continue on. That way, everybody has an opportunity to kind of share and go through these questions. So I hope you stick with it and kind of watch and support them at the same time. So basically what I'm gonna do is I got some fun questions, and then I got some serious questions to ask you that's been asked me. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to watch or see. I did some sessions. I'm not calling them where I'm interviewing, because I'm not an interviewer. I'm just, this is just some fun conversation, chat talk, just to be able to give people opportunity to know they're not in this alone. We're all in this together. So the first question that came up was, what turns you on as an actor and help you feel creative?
Are you going to direct these questions to individuals? Because like you said, we're not going to step over and talk on each other's heads.
Well, I want each one of you to answer the question. So between the three of you, just determine who wants to jump and answer that question first. Then after that one, the next one. And if I have something to chime in on, I'll just chime in.
We'll do like Cal did before. We'll go.
Ladies first.
Age before beauty.
Beauty.
Oh, nothing. You all.
Well, in that case,
we're not going to do that for every question, okay?
Okay. Well, we'll just do it this way. Ladies first. So, Marcia, we'll just let you go ahead and jump in and answer that question. And then we'll make Cal last. We'll go to you, and then we'll go to Cal. Fair enough?
Works
all right.
Okay, let's go. Let's see
So
what we got.
the question again is what in
What
let me get it
turns you-
again.
What turns you on as an actor and help you feel creative?
I think life. I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's so much that goes on in my everyday life that I can just find different things that are occurring, good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to call it, that really allow me to be creative as an actor. I mean, there are just, even I'm a teacher by my day job, and just some of the things that I'm dealing with just with this coronavirus and my students. There are so many stories that I've developed just from the students that I can find some creativity in saying, that's something that either I could write about, or if I was given the opportunity to act in such a way, I would do that. So I think just things that occur in life for me is what gives me that impetus.
Okay. Am I bright enough for you guys? Do I need to do some more adjustment? I look gray.
You need to put on some sunglasses.
See that nice pretty blue there?
You got a shadow behind you.
I have a shadow behind me.
Your eyes are not popping.
Oh Lord.
Your mic is not.
Are you picking with me?
I was putting that other hat on there.
Are you picking with me?
I was just playing. You look beautiful. Okay. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. All right. I didn't know it was that dark in this room today. I got the shades because it's raining here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep it going. Who's next?
Yeah, I guess I was according to your order. So, life definitely does help. But for me, when I'm creating, I feel like I'm in a different mind space, and I don't mean that in some schizophrenic way, but like in that I feel alive. I know anything, entertainment wise, when we're doing scenes, once you're really involved in that scene, that moment you're doing the scene, it's not like you're in the scene. For me, it's almost like I even don't know how to explain it. Like I tell people, like when I used to play music, I'd close my eyes and 45 minutes would go by. Like I felt like can we do an encore? Like where did the time go? So it's almost like I find myself in a space of bliss, and it's crazy because I could have a headache. I could be like feeling a little bit distraught, whatever, personal reasons or environmental or physical reasons. But when we're in a moment of creativity, all of that is gone. And it can come right back like 5-10 minutes after the event is over. So for me, it's like a life energy. And I don't know how to explain it any more than that. I feel alive to the point where I just crave it. It's almost like a hit. I haven't played live music in a while. And just like acting, like we're doing things like this. I have a few friends that, Brad James, he's doing a audio movie with the sound score and everything. So, whatever we can do in our quarantine spaces, the creative people are still trying to buzz and bubble, and that keeps that energy alive, and I love it. And I know that, if I haven't done anything for a while, I'm just feeling like I need to get a hit. It's almost like a drug, I'm addicted to the fact of being able to create. And it's almost like not so much so anymore, like who's watching me or who's going to hit this like, as much as can I give the best of what I'm here to do, whatever that is, entertainment wise. And that makes me feel so much alive. And like I said, even any physical or psychological maladies are lost and gone for those moments I'm in those spaces. So I really feel like that's my meditative zone. I mean, I know meditation is different for everybody, and many different reflections of meditations occur in the world, from yoga to, honing in on in a quiet space, or however so be. And those are as well. But this to me is one of those where I just feel like I'm living. I'm really alive, I love it.
Raj, I'm gonna piggyback on that, and it does seem like I'm going crazy because what happens was, once you get that script and you read it the first time, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And then you go back and highlight my character. And then I start thinking about wardrobe. I think about look. I think about set. I think about all the different things that encompass turning myself into the person that is on those pages and bringing it to life. So for me, the essence of, when I was a kid, I used to, I grew up in Jersey. So it was like we would play and we would do things and we would pretend to be people and do things. And I think from an early age, when I started pretending to be other people, I think that's what gave me the foundation that I have in order to metamorphosize into a different person. Even though the face is the same, the hair, the beard, the physicality, the sadness in my eyes or the happiness in my eyes, that's what really, so the script for me in bringing the character to life is what really turns me on.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Well, I chime in on all of you. It all excites me. It gets my adrenaline going. I can't sleep when I'm ready, when it's time to film or to write a script, when it's one that's just really thrilling and I got an amazing cast to work with. I get chills and I don't sleep until it's like done. And then when I'm on set ready to work with you, especially when I have a great cast of actors, it's like, woo! I'm like praising Jesus the whole time. I'm like, oh my God, we're finally here. We're here. We're here. So it is a total motivation for me. It's almost, and I know me and Cauthen has talked about this on several occasions. It's almost like a drug. And if you're not careful, you'll overdose on this drug.
Yeah, I've been caught crackish quite a few times.
It's almost crackish. That's a good way to put it. And I just know that it's very emotional for me. Some people call it passion. Whatever title you want to give it, it is what it is. But once you get a taste of it, and I'm going to tell you, it really don't matter which side, whether you're the actor or you behind the camera. If it's something that gives you that fix, it feels great. All you want to do is keep doing it. I get people ask me, how are you writing so many scripts? How are you filming so many projects? Well, when you love it like that and it feels that addiction and those stories just keeps coming in you, you just want to keep going after it and doing it, number one. And number two, it's a blessing at the same time because it's blessing me to be able to do what I love, but it's blessing also actors that I get to give an opportunity to hone in on their craft, if it's just to hone in or a joy just to have the opportunity to perform. So for me, I see it bigger than just, a film to go on screen or a film to go to Hollywood. It's really a circle for me that we are all in it together to really just sharing our creativity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, then let's go to that next question. Oh, I like this one. How or what do you do to get into character?
Okay. This is, I just get the chills.
I'm excited just waiting your answer.
Exactly. So a lot of times, just like I said, I read through the script, I see what my character is, and I see what little nuances I can bring to that character. And, if it's a walk or the way I talk or the way I stand, or if I'm playing a cop or I'm playing a thug or I'm playing a love interest or I'm playing the heavy, the bad guy, it all, just, ooh, I sometimes I have to sit and just, get my thoughts together. And while I'm sitting there on set, my co-stars, from the extras to the under fives to the main characters to the day players, they all bring me in and help me develop that, bouncing off of them once I'm doing my dialogue and they're doing theirs. Because as you well know, when you're not talking, you got to give great face.
That's if you have one like you, Cal. You can give.
Nah. I'm just a regular cat, man. I'm just marching time.
Well, I think for me, or you finished, Cal? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in like that.
I'm good. I was just giving you face.
Okay. I think for me, a lot of it. I mean, I agree with Cal. I look at that script and I see what that character is supposed to be about, but also do, and depending on, especially if it's some sort of period piece, I do research in terms of what that period is like. I know one time way back in the 80s, I played in A Raisin in the Sun, and I played the character of Ruth. And Ruth was one of the dilemmas that Ruth had was she even though she was married, she got pregnant and she really didn't want to have the baby because they were having so many financial problems. Well, this was 1959 when this was written. I was born in 58, and my mindset about abortion and all those kinds of things is much different than what Ruth's is. So I had to think about I had to separate Marcia from what Ruth was and really think about what was going on in that person's mind in that time. And so I look at all of those kinds of things in terms of what that character is. For instance, recently I just did a character for my church, actually. It was a play. And it was a character back in a free woman back in the 1880s. But she was a sassy, free woman who owned her own saloon. And I had to think about, well, what was it like to be just after slavery, a free woman, and being able to tell, these white folks what it is that I want to tell them, because I'm free and I'm a saloon owner, and I'm going to say what I have to say. I don't care who you are. So I have to think, and you have to think about the different characters. And again, when you're looking at a period piece, really research that period.
Yeah, everything Cal and Marcia said. I mean, as you know, we as actors, we read the script, and if we don't have insight from, let's say, the writer director or the director in themselves prior to, then what you're doing is you're reading every character as well. Like you're seeing how do they relate to you. Okay, so you have because I know, and I've seen this, and sometimes on the fly, people for auditions, they'll just read their lines, study their lines, and they'll throw their lines. What we lose when we do that sometimes, or a lot of times, is the fact that those lines have a different bearing when you understand what that other individual is saying to you and why, or they're saying what they're saying to you. So also knowing the characterability of your fellow actors and your scene mates, knowing what their intentions and if their line has an exclamation mark versus a question, makes a big difference on how your character is going to relate to what they just said.
Right.
So it's understanding that whole script in its totalitarian sense, then honing in, like Cal said, and as Marcia said, researching, like some pieces that are such, you have to figure out, well, what was going on during that time and how would this person talk? For me, a lot of times I get those stereotypical roles. So it's typically, I will need to have an accent. So because the duck needs to quack like a duck to really look like the duck that it should be, right? So totalitarian sense. Getting some backtrack. But so yeah, there's a lot involved in bringing a character to life. I think it's not, a lot of people. Oh man, I can act. Give me some lines. Watch this. Right, but and some people are naturals like that. Granted, even those people we know, even like the Denzels and the actors that have been seasoned, will take moments to study. Will take moments to go in and do the research. If you got to play the homeless guy, maybe you want to stay on the street for 2-3 days.
Right.
Like literally,
Right.
So there's different levels of preparedness for particular characters, and if you have a big character that has big momentum and let's say emotional waves, then you really have to understand not only that character, but how his waves are affected by the other characters. So for me, it's the script in total, the concept of what that character is trying to bring, and then to learn the lines, not so much to spit the lines out, but to be more natural to how that individual fits into this world.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good group of actors answering these questions. All right. So are we good on that? Okay, let me go to the next one. Do you have a favorite character role you've already performed? Same order. Okay, let's turn it. Okay, wait. Because I see all the smiles. Turn it around. We're going to start with Cauthen first.
Here we go.
Yes,
Here we go. Yeah. A favorite character that I've already played.
Yes.
I mean, they're all near and dear to my heart, but the way I came up in Rough Patch Twist of Fate was special because it was the first time I got a chance to play a dual role, same person. So I was Jersey Shank, and he was the bad guy, and it was just the way Tone had set it up. It was 3 different guys, and she said, "Who do you want to be?" And I was like, "Well, would it be that difficult to kind of mesh 2 of them together, and then give both sides?" Drake, suave debonair, businessman, philanthropist, and the gangster. It was cool. I think that was one of my favorite characters to play, and I think I did a okay job.
I think you did a fantastic job. Oh, wow. Well, thank you for that at the same time. Okay.
I gotta give credit where credit is due now.
Oh, okay. There's no blushing allowed on this chat.
Only big smiles.
All righty. Go ahead. Raj. Sorry. Raj.
No. I've had a lot of cool character roles. In the bigger productions, they're very stereotyped. I'm going to give a shout out to Massimiliano Cerci, who was he's a director and a writer and director, but he got me on a role called in a movie called Mayday, and I played a turbaned Indian doctor, and I played him without an accent, meaning just how we're speaking. He wanted me. He said, "You know what? Be yourself." But you're the typical Sikh, doctor. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciated that role. It wasn't the largest role. It was poignant in the film itself, Mayday, which has been out for a while and doing well. It really lent to the fact that, it doesn't always have to be that cutthroat, because looking like I do, obviously I get pigeonholed in a way. And don't get me wrong, I will ride.
I got you.
Waves till they crash into every beach around the world, but I love the fact that I get the opportunities to be more, because I have comedy, I have horror, I have drama within me, but it's kind of contained to very limited roles that are allowed to me. So and Tone, you even gave me one to step out of the box. I didn't have to have an accent, and I was playing this ambiguous, let's say, culture character, father and husband, and it was an emotional role, which was I liked, because again, it was taking me out of my box that I've been kind of thrown into in the bigger scheme, let's say the bigger budget types of films and things. So, but these types of films that allow one to portray character abilities that normally you wouldn't get or have the vying for the role for, is what I really, really love. And so the directors or the writers or producers who think outside of the box like that, kudos to them, because they take a little chance, to what could be typically written for that, 35 to 45-year-old Caucasian or African American, let's say, whatever role. They throw this ambiguous looking, or this, looks like he's Middle Eastern, but he's not, because he's really from India. But he has accents. They can run for both, and he could be Hispanic, really, if you really come down to it. If you wanted, those type of thinkers, I love. But yeah, that role I really, really enjoyed doing, because I got to throw some of the native tongue in. I threw some of Punjabi language in there as well. But I was speaking like this throughout the film, so that was awesome to me.
Wow.
Bravo.
And thank you. I loved working with you too, and you did a fantastic job on that role, which is actually on Amazon right now. I forgot the title of the movie though. You remember the title? Last Wish. Okay, yeah. Which is on Amazon.
I wanted to say it when I brought it up, but I didn't want to hack it. I knew it was Wish was in there, but I wasn't sure if that was the.
Yeah, I know. It's been kind of a few moons ago. No.
Yes, it was.
All right, Miss Marcia.
Well, actually, there's actually 2. One was with you, and I've mentioned it earlier as we began. First, my mother Jane really allowed me to just do so much with that role. To deal with to play rather the role of a person who had Alzheimer's, and to just be able to again, pull for me, when you asked me to do that particular thing, to pull from what I was sort of experiencing from a caregiver standpoint, but what I was seeing in my own mom, and just be able to bring that to life. And that really was a role that was totally uncharacteristic, and just, other than the fact that I was dealing with it from a caregiver level. The other role was with actually a young director, writer, filmmaker, and it was a short film called Into the Good Night, and I played an alcoholic mother who was grieving the death of her son, and that was also very uncharacteristic for me, because I mean, not only was I playing an alcoholic, but I was cursing everybody out. And I actually had a really good time, just with that role, and playing that alcoholic. And that's just not somebody who I am. I mean, not saying I don't drink, but I'm not an alcoholic. But I enjoyed being able to embrace that role, and also coming from being a mother, I couldn't even understand what it might feel like to lose a child, but embracing that and being able to play that role. So I like to play roles. I usually kind of play the role where I'm sort of like the person who's sort of the caregiver type, but to play something that is totally different, I enjoy that.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm just going to tell y'all, I enjoy you all.
Well, we enjoy you, Tony.
All right. Okay, now, okay, this is kind of still along the line. Describe the character you dreamed to perform and one day, and why.
Wow.
I'm gonna mix these up a little bit.
I don't know if it's been made yet.
Huh? No, yeah, that you wish and hope to perform one day.
There's so many.
Okay, well, just pick one. Sai, you want to start first this time? I'm sorry, I keep wanting to do that. Raj. Sorry.
Oh, when you say Sai,
am I pronouncing it wrong?
You mean Singh?
Singh. Well, I better stick with Raj.
Just so everybody knows that Singh in all the Sikh religion, the man's middle or last name is going to be Singh, which basically means lion in translation, and it has a whole spiritual and physical connotation to it. But that's neither here nor there.
No, go ahead and teach.
Right. But
it's always good to take an opportunity to help people understand, because all of our cultures are so different.
Absolutely.
So, I got you.
And it's funny you said that. I felt my beard popping out a little bit from my braid here, so I was like, "Oh, hold up, wait a minute, let me tuck it back in."
No, okay. Let it hang out. That's who you are. And look, we all under quarantine. We're under quarantine. We lucky we look halfway decent. We don't have no glam squads or nothing. So,
I already got a comment from a fellow actress saying, "Hey, you actually look cleaned up. That's good."
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
okay, so here we go. Who would you want to?
Yeah, mm-hmm. I want to play something supernatural. Something like, I have the glow type of, like, fantastical, with winds blowing in the back, maybe my hair going as well while I'm conjuring something, hopefully something positive. But the way I look, I probably would be the bad guy. So conjuring up something, extreme. I mean, if you ask me, I want to do something really sci-fi, supernatural like. I love everything, though. I love being funny because, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you must go ahead and cry. Because life is not only to be amused, but to amuse. Because you think about it, it's so short. And a lot of the things we put weight to and so much, life into, it really just saps the life out of us. So, I mean, I like keeping levity in life, but yeah, to answer the question, because there's a lot of stuff. I'm actually, if I could shout out Ja'Cory Solomon, he's a brother that's doing a series, and he's got me as one of the lead or main roles in it, and I'm playing this pseudo. I don't want to say bad guy because he got there to a certain point, but I love this character. So I never had this opportunity for a character like this before. So, to answer your question, maybe, I wouldn't have known to even say that if it wasn't presented to me. But if just off the top of my dome, what I haven't done yet, because your point was like character you want to do, you haven't done yet, it would be something really like magnanimously supernatural. And I'm like, eating snakes while I'm conjuring up demons or something. Maybe not demons.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. Okay.
Okay, I'm done. Someone take over. You were supposed to cut me off a while ago, pal. What happened, man? What happened? I told you when I was going crazy, you're supposed to cut me off.
No.
I do not know what you wanted me to say to you. You're doing so well with your comedy and your acting. I mean, come on, man. What do you mean, man?
And I don't like to do the cutoff because sometimes even in your gradual conversation of what you're sharing, it can be something that somebody that's watching would need to hear. That might be something that can help them. So no, I'm not going to cut you off that way because I don't know what you could say that can be a blessing.
That's a great director. That's a great director move. To let the scene play on. Good job. Well done. So you might get something else.
Yeah, well, I like to keep that camera. I like to keep that camera going all the time, right?
That's right.
Yeah. No improv.
All righty. Next.
It is a pleasure to play any character for me. I don't have a favorite character that is a must be. I think I would like to do something biblical to change my whole entire look and do something in that realm. I don't have to play, Jesus. I have to play Moses or one of the disciples or something,
Yes.
I had the opportunity to play a character from the Book of Ruth, which is the shortest book in the Bible.
Yeah.
That's one of the facts I do know about the Bible. But any character is a challenge. So I think something a period piece of that sort, or something from the 1920s, 1930s period piece, or something like that. If you
Cal, I'm sorry to interrupt. I want you to look up Gino Payne. He's the man. Half Untold. You got the look, brother. Talking about biblical, brother. Yeah. Hit me on the after we're done. Someone I want to connect you to.
Okay, not a problem. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes.
Gino Payne, Gino.
Gino That brother is just like us. He's of color and highly talented and young and in it to win it, and definitely what you said. Really, I had to say it because Half Untold, man. Just wait. He won some awards with his short film he did called Son of Sheba. Yeah,
I hear work.
and what he's doing is just like you said, man, bringing people of color biblical origins to light. I'm sorry, Cal. I had to say
no, I was done. I mean, I'm glad you jumped in.
Okay. Well, Marcia.
I like to do a role that's somewhat diabolical, but also has a good side to it. Sort of like, I'm doing two different characters within one script or what have you. I mean, because I would like to see, I just could see myself kind of doing both of those things. In terms of what type of script, I have no idea, but I just like to be able to do sort of the diabolical and sort of nice person, and you're trying to figure me out.
You get that yin yang, what I was talking about,
and
nothing like not playing a twin.
And that's
evil and the good.
Yeah,
that is interesting because I love writing dual character roles like that. And I don't know if you've paid attention in most of the projects that I have filmed. at least one character is playing a double role.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
You know, like Cal played Sharkman. Was it Sharkman?
Jersey Shank and yeah.
And then this series that we just filmed, season 1 and 2 of Gavin Hook, we got our villain, Sydney. She plays Sydney and Black Shadow. You know, and I have one project I'm trying to get funding for right now. It's called The Five. And this one's going to be really crazy. And I don't even know how I even wrote the story without going nuts in my brain, because it's a story of a husband and a wife married to each other. And both of them are skits. And both of them have a total of 5 characters. That both of them have a total of 5 characters within themselves in that marriage. And then they're dealing with each other in all those 5 characters that they have until they come to the end to recognize what's the main character taking over those characters to be able to form and have a good relationship without.
Interesting.
Oh my God. I'm telling you right now, I have no idea. That is totally God. Because when that came into my brain and just started writing, I was up for hours through the night. That I was writing it when the light, it was daylight, and it was like 7 a.m, and I just wrote this script out, and it's going to be a challenge for me to film it as it was a challenge for me to write it. Because I'm going to have to figure out how to have one person as an actor be 5 different people in this character, with somebody else that has 5 different personalities in them, and how you get them to all coincide with each other to be able to stay in a consistent story of how they became that, how they live with it, and then how they adjust to have, and it's not going to be a big cast. It's just really going to just be these 2 people playing these roles, telling these stories of all 5 people. So that's going to be very unique for me a unique project to work on. So yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that in when you guys started talking about how you like in playing multiple characters. So yeah.
That's going in.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's going in. She's talking about 1 or 2. You're talking about schizophrenic with 5 different.
Right.
One of them.
And I realize I'm gonna have to cast very carefully, because I'm gonna have to make sure that person that's going to be the performer mentally and emotionally will be able to handle all those characters without losing themselves. It's almost like playing the Joker. Yeah. You have to go out. Yeah, because some of the characters are not so nice. Yeah. So, but anyway, so that's something that I've written that I would like to at one point get produced and out there. But I got to get some real funding for that one, because that's going to be something serious. But anyway, the next question comes. Did I make sure everybody said what they needed to say before I go on?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Okay. What motivates you when you hit a wall, and explain your wall and why?
Wow. Hitting a wall. I think it's like anything else. Like if you run track and you're doing a mile and you're in the second lap before the end of the race, and you start breathing real heavy and you feel fatigued, that you have to, within me, what I do is I give myself a pep talk, and I say, yo, we need to go forward. We need to keep on pushing and to deliver. And a lot of times when you hit a wall, if your director doesn't see you hit that wall, you have to be aware enough to know that after the second or third take, you're like, something's not right. Let me gather myself and then come back and give it all my all, which will enhance the character in the rest of that scene. Because once you hit that wall and get that second shot of adrenaline, that's when the magic happens.
And if I get it, I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly. Did you mean wall as in while you're on set playing a character, or do you mean in general as a creative person in life?
I'm going to just say both, because this is a question that an actor asked me to ask you.
Okay.
So I'm just going to say, just touch on both for you.
Fair enough. And Cal said it, because you could be on set and, if the director isn't giving you what maybe you need to give you that catalyst, then you got to figure it out. If you're giving it and you feel like you're not getting there, then you got to, like Cal said, redirect yourself and come in there with a different vibe or mentality. In life, though, because that I think is where us as creative folk and actors, writers, directors, we get into those points, I think, in our mind in life where we even question our whole integrity of our momentum. Like, is this what I really meant to do? Am I even worthy to be an actor? Speaking from my perspective, I've hit those, walls and such. But, strangely enough, something or another, whether it be by the grace of God or, through individuals, words or someone who has some gumption and playing in the industry that, you got to give viability and credibility, what they're coming up with to you with, give you that little bit of oomph. For me personally, I find that I don't have any of that. And even in these times, I think a lot of us creative heads are getting to those walls, right? We're getting to those points where we're frustrated or we're you think, how are we going to, what are we going to do? When are we going to get back on point? I mean, am I even going to get another opportunity? I'm not getting this or that, all these things. What for me, I find I reach out to my real creative people, just here and there. I'll put a buzz on like, hey, what you got going on, man? Or, hey, what's going on, girl? And they might have a little something, might not involve me, but that talk and that bubbling of creativity comes up, and then, a little rejuvenation of zest. And then, oh yeah. And some of these people I reach out to, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of selfish, but I know they have opportunities that they could lend to me. And then they'll even say, I'm working on something. You know what, by the way, I got something in mind for you. Boom. My wall is one block and my wall is broken at that point. I'm already chipping in some at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me to stay vitalized and stay, zestful. But I'll be honest, walls do occur, but it's, I think, that next step or that next role or that next little piece of advice from somebody or, a boost that keeps one going. And ultimately, I'll tell you what, if you don't 101% believe in yourself, you won't only build a wall, you'll build a barrier that's impenetrable.
Wow.
You got to believe that it's meant for you, and you got to be ready to take the 1,000 no's before the one yes. The skin has to be thicker than an alligator at times.
Rhinoceros.
The thicker of the skin. Well, if you believe and you really think this is for you, you're never going to give up. The walls are temporary. They're not made of, steel, So, we can bust through, but you got to believe in yourself.
And I think belief is what you just said, Raj, is one of the biggest things. You have to continually believe in yourself. I know on set, there's been several times where I might hit that wall on set, and I just have to kind of go off and take a moment to myself, and just say, okay, Marcia, let's think about this. Let's think about what's going on and think about what the director's asking of you and so forth. But you can't just say, oh, well, I'm no good. You have to be able to do that. And I think even in life, for me, I know a lot for me, and when it comes to hitting the wall in life, it's really my faith that really brings me through. I mean, I have to really just take a moment, take some quiet time sometimes from in terms of life, and just sit back and just say, okay, I've hit this wall, but Lord, I know that because of you, that I can still do this, but I just have to take that time and spend that time with him in order to get me back to where I need to be. So it's that belief in yourself. You can't, I think sometimes actors think that, well, some people think it's easy. The stuff is not easy. Okay. Let's just get that out there. Acting is not easy. You can't let a no or somebody say, well, you're not the right person for this role or whatever the case may be, then turn you off and say, well, I just can't do this. You have to still believe in yourself. And you do have to, get around people, like-minded people who are creative like you. Because sometimes when you get around some of the wrong folks, they're going to make you think that, that was just a pipe dream. You shouldn't even pursue that, So you have to continually believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's 100 right there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else want to put a little bit more in, or should I go to the next
Well, well, yeah, just to put that little bit more in, the
one?
belief
Okay.
in yourself, maybe having, belief in a higher power that's, keeping everything guided, and like-minded individuals with prowess and gumption around you.
It's
Yes.
important.
Oh, that's
It's
so
important.
100, Raj. That's so 100.
Right? I mean, we can't just sit there and throw, lines in every pond that we see. We need to have a lot of lines out there, but we got to be selective and choosy to know that this pond I'm in has some bounty to it. So I've become very selective of my circle of friends, my circle of, even creative business orientedness. I focused and honed it in because I know there's certain people in the industries, I mentioned a couple of names, Massimiliano and, Shakori. There's a few people out here that, people are going to know sooner or later. Tone, you've been busting chops and for a while. You know it. I know it, but you haven't stopped, and slowly but surely, you got a number of movies on Amazon Prime. You're doing a lot of things. So there's certain individuals that, they were made for this game. And you have to surround yourself with these individuals that are going to give you what you need psychologically, physically in the world of the game we're in to make things happen sometimes. And it's not always on the big, 5, 10, 20, $50 million budget films.
Right.
It's, there's people out there, and I named a few of them already, that with a $100,000 budget can make you like a Universal, Lionsgate, any type distributed type film. You just got to know who you're dealing with and deal with the right people.
It's a marathon. It's not a 100-yard dash.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, you got to bet on the right horse.
That's right.
Bet on the right horse.
And that's why I post the way I post on Facebook. It's for, my fellow filmmakers, but it's also for actors, because the one thing I recognized early on is we are so in this together, and we can't fight and come against each other, stopping each other from accomplishing, because when you do that, we get nowhere. But if we can figure out a way on how we can come to a common ground of mutual respect, no matter whose project, what actor, whose actor, we just got to find a way to have a happy medium. And then I thought my goal in this would be, if those who choose to watch this, whether they're live with us or watch it later, somehow realize you're not alone. It's a struggle for everybody on each side to be able to get those roles. And it, like he said, it is not a marathon. Some people are seeing what I've accomplished now, but they don't know what I was doing at the beginning. How I was working at a Target 5 a.m. in the morning to 10 a.m. and then filming the whole day or into the night. They didn't realize that I was living in a hotel extended stay, praying to God just to be able to pay the hotel for just a week, just to make it a week, living week to week. So all of us has our own individual struggle trying to pursue this goal of film or acting. And we got to find a way to work together without knocking each other down, criticizing each other, or finding a way to sabotage other people's work. And that's what what shocks me in this industry.
That's what my guy used to say. Build a good team. You have a good team, the team you can trust, team got your back, you got their back. There's no animosities, no question. That's a crucial part of this game. And like you said, in our world, because we're independent, but that doesn't mean we don't have just as much stock and creativity and prowess to do what everyone with the bigger dollars does. But if you have the right people on your team and they stick with you, you can get places. You can rely on and get places.
Teach.
Right.
Well, Cauthen, I know we've talked about this a little bit. Go ahead and touch on a little bit on that, because you've been in this game a good while, and you understand this game really on a deeper level than most people that I've had the opportunity to associate with. And just a little tip for actors. We've got you talking about yourself a little bit in your journey. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to kind of become more of a teaching moment from all three of you, because I know that you've been in this game a while. You've been on independent projects to big projects. I know, Cal, you've been on soap operas, you've been on movies with Denzel Washington, you've worked with around Eddie Murphy, you've done a lot of stuff. Raj, I know I've seen a lot of your great projects that you've done on Netflix, and you got a lot to offer. And then Marcia, I've seen some of the great projects you've done where you've done some amazing emotional transitions in the character roles that you played. So I want this to become teaching now, if we can, to switch that gear. So I may throw in some questions of my own just to kind of get your thoughts going, to help actors watching how to understand it does take time to build this, but also the relationships you need to make sure you have as you grow in this industry, and try not to burn the bridges along the way, because you never know who's going to rise up that you may need one day to get you that right role. So Cal, if you would start there and chime in as you wish.
Okay.
I would start out with prime example. Everybody's like Denzel, Malcolm X, this, that, and the third. But did you see Denzel on St. Elsewhere as a doctor, as a small role, as the first black doctor? I don't know if he's the first black doctor, but a black doctor on a TV series. And all the plays and all this training and everything he did prior to that to get to the point that he is. So my thing is that, yes, I've been in the game since 1990. I was at a New Year's Eve party and I was a bartender. And they said, everybody make your New Year's wish, what you want God to bless you with, or whoever you believe in to bless you with. And I said I wanted to become an actor. And from that day on, things started happening. So if you try to speak it in existence, that works too. But the higher power is the one that's in control of everything. Your book is already written. So it's just for you to try to navigate the obstacles that the devil or the bad people get in your way and try to get you off the path that the higher being wants you to be on. So in the beginning, when I was in high school, I was in modern dance because I got cut from the basketball team. So in modern dance, there was 50 girls and 4 guys. So for me, I was thinking, well, I can get on stage and do this maybe and, be a part of this. And there's 50 women and 4 guys. That is the real reason. But gave me the opportunity, Miss Miller gave me an opportunity to play different characters. I got an opportunity to play Chubby Checker one year when Roll, Bounce, Skate. I'm dating myself. You two are not going to know these songs, but you neither. But Roll, Bounce, Skate. I know, right, Marcia? I got to play the DJ. So,
I know that one.
I mean, the little things that you do will set you up for the bigger or the biggest things that you're getting ready to do. How you treat people on set. I always told Tone that, everybody in Atlanta wants to be an actor, but nobody has the mentality or the experience or the training. They wake up and say, oh, I want to be an actor. I'm going to go be an extra. They don't know how to behave on set. They don't know how to take direction on set. They want to play with their phone. They want to take pictures. They want to walk up to the A-list talent and be like, yo, what's up? Yo, I know you. I seen you. Yo, this, that. There's certain etiquette that you must follow. Yes. And it's just like your mother told you, when you go to somebody else's house, you be on your best behavior. When you go to somebody's set, you need to be on your best behavior and abide by their rules. Every director, every producer, every actor is different. Me, sometimes I don't want to be bothered at all by anybody because I'm trying to get in that mindset. I think that now that I'm older and I'm able to focus, because I got a little ADD, Tone will attest to that. What happens is, sometimes I get easily distracted, or because of how I support my family, I'm thinking in the back of my head, wow, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. I gotta make money, and I'm not making money right now, but I love this. And that's when you become crackish. You start feeding the camera, and you start feeding the environment, and you wish that you were getting paid millions of dollars to do this thing that you love. So if you love this thing, you have to nurture it. It's like a relationship. You know, first you start dating, or you become friends, and then you start dating, and then you get married to it. And hopefully you never get divorced from your dream. And I just want to say to people that where you are today doesn't mean that's where you're going to be at tomorrow. So if you're not getting paid anything today, that doesn't mean further down the road you're not going to get paid for your talent. You have to be able to manipulate the situation and be the best person you can be without contributing money, and give your best part of yourself. And you know, my wife now, she keeps me in line, and sometimes you get crackish. You know, you got to roll, and you don't want to leave set, and you know you got to go, and you know you got to take care of this, but you're in the middle of it, and you're feeling, it's a feeling that, to me, I never really did drugs, and I don't know what that euphoria is, but I know that acting is my drug, and that's my euphoria.
Well said, Cal.
Well said.
Thank you. Well, you know, we teach it now. You know,
you said a few things that resonated with me quite heavily, man. You know, I've said this name a couple of times, but this brother Massimiliano, he told me one thing. He said, Raj, it doesn't matter how big or small your role is. It doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. When you have an opportunity, treat it like it's the biggest thing that's ever happened to you, you know, and then Cal said, you know, everybody, I mean, down to the crafty, give them respect. It's like you never know who can do what or will end up doing what later in life. And it's not a pretentious thing where you're faking it out. No, be genuine, you know, and be humble. Because Cal's absolutely right. I mean, there's times when I've been on some bigger sets with some really big names, and I had lines, so I'm kind of getting a little bit VIP treatment too, and I'm kind of in the same green rooms and the genres, and do I want to jump up and be like, yo, man, I love this, and you did that, and this, and that, and the other? But I look at these individuals before I even try to think of something, and I see the intensity in their eyes or their thought processes might be, and Cal said it, they could be in a moment right there where they're just getting ready to go and think about a line that's maybe, let's say, ambiguous in their head, and they're getting that clarity. And then you come and say something, and they don't want to be rude, so they might say something, but it might come off as, long story short, do what you're there to do, be humble, give respect to everybody around you, and be serious about your craft. Don't be there for other flaky intents, you know?
Amen.
I did background, you know, but I did it to learn, like, okay, if I'm going to do this acting, and shout outs to Dwayne Boyd. He's one of my acting actors. Anybody knows Premier Actors Network, Pan, that brother does, you know, he really gave me also the big impetus and the good directions, and these things that we're saying here, you know, are taught in classes as well with good teachers and instructors. But point being is that there's so many nuances to the industry that don't let them go by you, meaning be cognizant, be open to learn and listen. You know, if the AD is saying something, give them as much respect as you would, you know, the director or anybody on that set, you know, give them some respect and viability, because they're there for a purpose, whether it's serving your purpose or not at that moment in time. It is a purpose, right? And we learn from other actors, we learn from taking classes, you know, stay honed in. What is the biggest thing? You know, you don't have to be ready if you're prepared, you know, stay prepared. So when the thing comes, you're already ready.
Great.
You know, there's never a time that a creative person is not going to see something in a certain light and put it in the world of what they're trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is like a teaching moment. So I just know, you know, I mean, there's so many things that we wished, you know, man, you know, that dude's getting paid, you know, 10 grand a day. I'm getting paid $300, you know, what the heck, you know, but you don't know what that dude did to get to that point, or what that gal did to, you know, make it to that status. What she may have to do, like Tony said, you stayed in hotels to get, and now you know when you got people calling you or saying, let it stay in our 5-star, you know, hotel up here, girl. We got you, and get on this yacht with us tomorrow. That's where you at these point times in work. But you know, we know, or you told us it wasn't like that in the beginning.
That's
So
right.
there's stages and places, and never put yourself ahead of the game. You know, play how you know you need to play, and it's not that you're faking it. Be true to your intent. And if you really, like we said a few of these things before, if you really believe in yourself, have a higher faith, give respect, and stick with a team that understands you and you understand them, because then there's a lot less ambiguity and questions involved in that. And this is not an easy game we're playing. It's a show business, right? A lot of people see the show part, but the business is the bigger word. If you can't produce money for people, they ain't gonna want to look at you too long. So you got to figure out a way to stay viable and do what makes you happy, because like Cal said, it's a drug. I mean, I swear when I'm doing certain things, I don't know how to explain it, but the fact that I'm high, I ain't on nothing else at that moment in time necessarily. I might get a drink afterwards, I ain't gonna lie. But at that moment in time, I'm serious about my craft and I don't need anything else.
Right.
That's all I need right then and there.
Right.
So if you really need it, you're going to want it and you're going to go for it. But the thing about it is, and very, like, I want to jump right in because Cal said a few really good points. You know, be humble, be respectful, because you never know that thing that you getting paid, you know, a couple $1,000 for, let's say $1,000 a week to do like full-time acting on a gig that's independent because they don't got a big budget. But you know what? You even losing money, but you go and do it. You know why? Because there's going to be that time that director gets that big hit and you're going to be paid $5,000 a week, maybe, or $10,000 a day even at times. It just depends. But you can't just be like, I need to be here and I'm not getting there. All right, I'm done by it. Then this wasn't for you to begin.
I think Cal and Raj have really put it in, you know, you have to realize that it's almost like you have to realize that every role that you have, whether it's being background or whether it's being the big star, all those roles are important. Every role is important. So even if your background, that background role is important, but you have to look at it that way as opposed to saying, oh, I was just this. No, you were just that, but you can still be something else. And you do. One of the things, Cal, you really hit it on the head in terms of when you go on set, it is really important that you respect all the rules and guidelines of set. You know, if you're going there because you're saying, oh, I heard that, you know, this person is going to be on there and I'm going to go and see this person and I'm going to hang out with this person. Forget that. You have to respect the rules and guidelines of set. I've been on set where people, they do stupid things, frankly, just to try to get themselves seen. And that's when the directors basically say, you're out of here. You know, cell phones are not to be on set. Cell phone rings, you're out of here. You have to respect all of that. Those kinds of things are really, really important. There are reasons why when people are in their zones. One of the first times when I acted with Cal, and I know Cal was getting into his zone. So you left Cal alone. I understood that because I knew when I needed to get in my zone, I needed to be left alone. And it's not being disrespectful of each other, but it's just that we're trying to deal with our specific roles. So you have to be respectful of one another. You have to realize that your time will come, but you have to make sure that you understand that it takes time to get there. When I met Tonay's right. We've known Tonay since really the beginning. And Tonay's gone through a whole lot of things. You know, and when I saw, and I'll tell Tonay this to this day. Actually, when I saw Tonay, not even knowing her, when we were the first time we all got together for Rough Patch, I thought she was somebody big then. I didn't realize that she was just getting started, you know, because she already had that in her head. But again, she realized that she had to pay her dues. And we've all had to pay our dues. So it's not like you're going to, you know, get into this thing and say, I'm going to be a star immediately. Oh man, you mean you're only going to pay me $80 a day? Well, or you're not going to pay me anything at all? You have to start somewhere to get to that next level.
It's a funny thing. I remember telling Tonay one time, you know, we were sitting in Waffle House and we were talking, and I said, you know, it's really funny about Atlanta actors because if you're from New York or you're from California, you immediately get respect when you say that. But when you say you're from Atlanta, a lot of people see us as not a joke, but don't take the job as seriously. And I remember doing Atlanta Homicide. I played a detective, and my first line was, "Okay, guy." No, that was a different one. Is this our dead body? And that was my one line. And the other three actors were a female and two guys. And they were like, who's this guy? Who is he? Why is he being brought in as one of the detectives? And as it evolved, the production company couldn't pay us. And, I was making a little money. So I chipped in and I bought lights or paid for gas or bought donuts or what have you, being as helpful as I could.
Yep.
And they said, we're going to go on strike. We're not going to get paid, or they're not going to give us at least $50 an episode. Then I'm not going to show up. So the Spanish chick was like, Cal, the other two guys don't want to show up, and to force them to pay us. And I said, and I'm a detective anyway. So I could tell that she was on three-way and he was supposed to be on mute. He didn't mute it. He was just didn't say anything. So I said, you know something? I said, you are a Spanish woman. How many TV opportunities are you going to get to be a lead in a Spanish situation in a series? And I said, I am, an African-American male. I said, I don't have a lot of lines, but they can't afford to pay us. We both know that. So why am I going to do that? I'm going to set. Well, Cal, we got to stick together, blah, blah, blah. I said, sticking together is okay. But in this instance, I'm going to do what's best for the production, because if you shut the production down, if we don't shoot anymore, then you have no carry. You're not going to do anything. So I showed up to set. You know what they did? They gave me all three scenes, solving all three murders. And then from that point on, I became the lead detective.
All
you
right.
got to understand
right.
that this is so much more. And when I say Atlanta actors, I don't mean, we all come from different places here and then reinvent ourselves, or we were raised here or born here and we're so used to, familiarity. You can't go and call Tone and say, yo, I need more lines, or, I need a web page, or I need a photo shoot, or I need this, or I need that. Or when you get to set, hey, Tone, I only got 2 lines. I got to stay here for 8 hours for 2 lines. I need more lines. And God bless Tone for being the spirit that she was.
Yes.
Sometimes she used to be like, you know what? I'm going to write you some more. I'm going to develop your character. And in the moment, she would scratch it out, say, here, these are your lines. This is what we're going to do. And once they gave that person the paper and the lines, they weren't able to handle it. So
right.
Don't go jumping the gun thinking that you're a star and you're just starting out on an independent project. I was on All My Children, and I played Haley's assistant, which is Kelly Ripa. And I went to the casting director, even though I was an extra. He eventually made me an under 5. But, I thought I was big and bad. So I said, I want to audition for a part. I think I'm ready. Dude, I was not even close to being ready. Stuttering and stammering and mispronouncing words, and didn't have the internal fortitude with a belief in myself, like Raj said, to be able to carry it. But now, 30 years later, I can play anything and do anything I put my mind to. Because now, even though I portrayed to be this, this actor or this thespian, I was not. It took me 30 years to develop who I am and what I am. And God has walked me through this. And I am sure that any role that somebody brings to me, I'm going to be able to do the dance and coach up my co-star. That's another thing. You got to be able to coach people up. You can't be like, oh, it's all about me. I'm the star. I'm the star of the scene. You know what it is to be an extra. I mean, you might have been blessed with the part, but most of the people on set know what it is to be an extra. So if you're sitting at a table and you're ordering something, have a little conversation with the waitress. Give us some shine. That might show the director or whoever wrote it well, maybe I need to build, give her another character or build her character. Toné was good for that. Hey,
Yeah.
henchman number 2. Now you got a name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get lucky like that and get producers or directors that see more. Like even in that movie Mayday, I didn't have as many lines, but the director must be, I don't know, he saw that this character's got a little game, he's got a little something. He gave me a moment to just do some improv, like freestyle, and we did a few different takes, and he kept a chunk of it. So the opportunities can be there if you have done your work. Like I do stage work. Sean Hutchinson, great writer. He's among us right now. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of him. He's written books, he's written stage plays, he's written series, he's written movies. Is he a big name right now? No, I'd say right now, because it's gonna come, because his brother ain't gonna give up. Point being is we got to do our work. It doesn't matter if it's stage work, it doesn't matter if it's background work, it doesn't matter if it's a one line that day work. You want it, work, and then someone's going to see the credibility. Now, Cal, you said you've been in the game 30 years, and you know how you started and how you are now. That's why you have the confidence. You've done the work, and
everybody's journey is different.
And part of that work is also if you can take some classes. It's always be open to learn doing different types of methods of acting. Different types of methods of directing or what have you. You have to take those. You make sure you take the opportunities to do those types of things, because that's important. That is really important too. You can't just think, oh, I can just go out here and just do whatever. No, you can't.
This is what I'm saying about being able to be humble and be able to know how to act on sets. I'm with I take a class with the booking room, and they do phenomenal work. Some young cats, doing some things. You don't have to pay $10,000 for a class. Don't let nobody fool you.
That's right.
Don't let nobody rope you in. A $10,000 class is not gonna make you a better actor. You're gonna make you a better actor. Being prepared is gonna make you a better actor. I take these $25 classes each Sunday, and I get more out of that. And I've been in some big time classes where I was like, I shouldn't even been there. A, I couldn't afford it. B, I was above my head. But C, I learned while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta learn.
Let me interject this question real quick, because y'all started touching in on what the next thing is. And be a little more specific and more details to your answers, so that way the people that are watching can get a little bit more out of you. So here it is. What steps have you taken to educate yourself and hone your acting skills? Because there's actors out there that don't know where to start, where to begin. Because one of the biggest questions I've gotten is, where do I start? It doesn't matter. Because there's young kids that are wanting to become actors. They don't know what to do, and their parents are looking for guidance. You have, like Cal mentioned earlier, people who just woke up today and decide they want to be an actor, and it's possible. We all have the opportunity for any of our dreams, but guidance and direction is kind of hard to come by as far as tips. So give your acting tips on how they can learn. If they can get in touch with a group or afford it, what are some other options? If there's YouTube, if there's like you mentioned, Dwayne Boyd, give contact for Dwayne Boyd, because I've heard of him and I know he's good in getting the craft really fine-tuned. So kind of touch on that, if you will.
And it's a perfect time for you to bring that up, because Marcia touched on it, Cal touched on it right at the end. Marcia said, don't think you can't just get in there and be ready, right? You have to prepare yourself. Yeah. And Cal said he takes little moments with the booking room. I think I love these brothers. I know exactly who he's talking about. And kudos to Pat and Jock and these young men who are really hard players from Atlanta in the big leagues and started just like us, and Patrick and I went to Dwayne's classes back in the days. Like I had the impetus. Brian Barber, he shot that movie Idlewild, which is an Outkast movie, and that's the band I toured with for a while as a musician too. You know, when he was preparing to shoot for that movie, he was behind the scenes doing videography work. We went to India together, and rest my brother's soul, Trip Ramey, who shot his first feature film that's on Netflix. You know, he passed away from cancer, you know, and not too long ago. But my point being is, like, we find moments of momentums. If something gives you the impetus to say that this is for you and you believe it in your heart, then you have to do the work. Dwayne Boyd, PAN, Premier Actors Network. I'm just giving you a name. I know I did 3 years. When I came back from India, and when Brian Barber said, yo, man, you got a little swag. I know you could do music. You should look into acting. I had an epiphanal moment. I was like, wow, that's a creative jump off. You know, it's a creative opportunity. Let me look into it. And then I talked to my brother Salim Mosley, who's also does AD, actor, musician. He said, hey, man, check out my boy Dwayne. It was simple as word of mouth, but then I get to Dwayne Boyd, and I spent 3 to 4 years with his brother religiously, 1 day a week for 4 times a month. And boy, like Tone said, what he teaches, you got to think about this. Cold reads and improv. You have to know how to break down a script, and then you have to know how to come off the script. If you can hone in these 2 major points, and you can, like Tone said, if you ain't got the money, start somewhere. Read a couple of books. If you're not a big reader, look at a few YouTube videos. See, because if you really got to know if it's for you, and if it is, you're going to find a way. And training. Be it, you know, weekend, you know, courses that they come up with. These what do you call those? Anyways, I'm lost for word for those weekend little hustles that folk got that do. But, you know, showcasing through acting classes. That's how I picked up my agent, People Store. And I had Jay Purvis and, you know, other agencies looking and wanting me, from training in a class to doing a showcase through this class. I got that light and hope to, you know, keep pushing it forward, apart from the belief in myself. But I'm telling you, I paid and I played to pay to learn. You know, you have to learn, and you can get lucky and get someone like a Tone that'll, you know, train you on set, you know, but she ain't gonna give you the gumption in the game if you can't bring something to the table. You know, she ain't even gonna have you there unless you have something to bring to the table. But that's not how you're gonna live and grow in this industry. You have to train. You have to train. And I love that Cal said, look, this brother's been in the game for 30 years, but he's going to these young guys. You know why? Because he sees that, you know what? It's training. It's like going to the gym. I mean, if you want to build muscles, you ain't going to do it just thinking about the gym. You got to get in. You got to train. I'm just going to say that. Don't ever belittle the art of training. You know, if you really want to do this on a scale that you feel is going to be a career-oriented scale, because money can't be your first impetus, because you're going to lose and have to give up to, you know, invest in yourself for a while, unless you're just one of them lucky blokes that get a big shot and then blow up right off the rip, which is rare and few between. You need to work. And don't be afraid of it. Love it.
And let me interject before the next person speaks. There's 2 things that I would like to really say for actors to really, really work on your craft. Number 1 is slow down. When you're doing your performance, you don't have to rush those lines, and allow the director to guide you on how that line is to be spoken. And then number 2, respect the co-star you're working with, and give them the opportunity to reply to you before you jump into the next line. And in that same thing, learn to react to the co-actor that you're working with. Don't think about just your performance. Think about your performance and the cast around you performance, so that way you all gel together and there become a smooth scene where it looks like you're actually working together. A lot of actors I've worked with, I've noticed you're so quick to rush your lines, trying to speak those lines in. You're throwing off not only yourself, but you're throwing off the other actor that's working with you. And then you're not giving them the opportunity or the chance to say their lines, to give feelings for your response to what their lines are. So it has to somehow work together like you're making love. And I love saying this. Acting is like making love. You have to be able to come together in union and make it a perfect scene. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
Definitely.
that's what I want to interject with you to do in your performing. So as you study and you learn from each one of these actors what they're telling you, take the note of slowing down, getting in tune with the character that you're playing, but respecting the actor that you're working with and the character they're playing so that you can have a happy union in bringing the best performance. And don't think about just your acting and how you bringing it. Think about the viewer that's watching you, because when I get a lot of people say, cast me, cast me. Well, I am not going to cast you until you make me a believer of you. Can you make me believe that you can do that performance? And can you make the viewer believe that you can bring the truth and the realness of that character? And the reason I wanted to interject this, because I wanted you to be in tune in the minds of what each one of these actors are sharing with you of how to go and get trained and educated, so that way you know how to communicate in front of a camera.
New
So
federal theater.
continue on. I just wanted to put that part in there so that they can be thinking and understanding what you're telling them at the same time.
You're not going to look as great if your partner doesn't look really good as well. And you have a lot to do with how your partner looks.
Absolutely.
So you want to try to steal
Yes.
the shine. You ain't stealing nothing, but you're stealing away from the impact of the entirety of the scene. And then that's not going to make you look that good, because a real viewer is going to know something was in a disaccord, or someone, was whatever. So that's a very good point. It's not only about learning, and that's what this work does, right, Marcia? Like you said, when we got to train, we got to go to class. We're not going to class for ourselves. We're going to class how to interact with others.
Interact with each other. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a perfect
and just like
dance.
Tone said, it's like a bear. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cal.
No.
You said it's a perfect dance.
It's a perfect dance.
But
You
I was
gotta
gonna say it's a perfect marriage too.
Well, I think in dancing, sometimes the stronger person will lead, and you have to be able to follow. I mean, there are some things that I'm very strong in, and there's some things that I need to step up my game. And my partner should be able to see that if he or she is portraying that character. And yes, normally when you go one-on-one, maybe in a class situation, you want to beat that person, or you want to be the best, or you want to get the attention. When you're filming anything, whether it be a commercial, whether it be an independent film, whether it be a TV series, whether it be a big budget movie, your essence is what is bright, not the words that you're saying. The feelings and emotions that you invoke in your audience is what makes people become fans of yours. Right. So to go and step on somebody to make yourself look bigger, don't do it. What you want to do, like I said, sometimes you want to coach up. Sometimes, I've been in the game for a long time, and in some situations that has been bad for me, because what happens is that I'm able to see things that maybe the person may not be able to see, or they might be so busy in what they're doing, they may not be able to remember. And sometimes I voice my opinion. And a great friend of mine told me, he said, "Hey, Cal, sometimes you got to stay quiet and let them, go on their journey and fall on their face. You just make sure you do what you're supposed to do, or what you are hired to do."
That's a seasoned actor's director eye talking.
Absolutely. But that training is very, very important. And I know one of the persons that I have trained under is a woman by the name of, I've done just some private coaching with her. Her name is Lauren Hudson. And Lauren has really, she's helped me bring out a lot for me in terms of really honing my craft, because that's what it's about. You're constantly honing your craft. And some of the exercises that you do, and I'm trying to think of one of the places that I went to. I think it was called, I don't know if it's called Atlanta Improv. It's an improv place, but the sessions that we had, it was usually only like 10 people in a session. And the types of things that you did with it, I mean, you were doing different activities that you really had to be creative. I mean, it's sort of like, take this piece of fabric and do something with it. And everybody came up with something different, just in terms of different exercises that you can do. And even if worse comes to worse, get with somebody who's trying to do the same thing, and you all create your own sort of little class together. If you can't afford something, or you can't, even if it's just $25 and you can't afford that, get together. Because I've done that. I have a couple people actors who actually go to my church, and we have had a chance to spend time together just to help each other out. So it's important, as everyone has said here, that you have to help each other out. It's not all about you. It's about helping one another, that we can all get, really hone that craft together. So, that's pretty much what I have to say in terms of that.
Yeah.
Right. Help each other be great.
Teamwork, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, good tits and bits there, or as I like to call them, nuggets.
Is it what?
Good nuggets. Okay, so I'm going to kind of back it up a little bit, and then I want you to share with those who are watching. The first thing I have is describe what you consider is your acting style, because every actor has a style. I've heard actors say that their acting style is method, or just general things. So if you have a particular style that you have, share that, so actors that are watching have an ideal that they don't have to be no one particular style to succeed in this industry. There's multiple ways to bring in their way of performance. There's one other thing I wanted to say, and then add into that, because I have a kind of well, let's put all three in if I could, so that way I don't have to interrupt. First, your acting style, a celebrity crush. From that celebrity crush, what makes them your crush? What you learned from them that you've imparted into your style, and then what was the your best pinch me moment from you becoming a filmmaker, I was going to say, an actor, as you've been on this journey. Do I need to say that again, or you good? I see. Who wants to go first on this one?
You said style, pinch me moment, and your actor crush.
Yes, that's good enough. Right there, boom.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I'll go first while you two think about it. I was writing it down.
Look at him.
He's ready. He likes this one.
Oh yeah, my style is outside the box. So you could say Meisner, or you could say method, or you could say Stanislavski. You could say anything, but an actor friend of mine. Well, he wasn't my friend at the time. I was his barber, and he was my client. His name is Edward Murphy, and Eddie told me, his dad, Mr. Lynch, God bless his soul, and Charlie as well, who introduced me into Eddie. Started cutting his hair. He said to me, he said, "Hey, Cal," he said, "the best advice I can give you is that the script is 1% and the character is 99%. So your experiences, your life, that's why I'm so amazed at little kid actors that are so successful. They don't have any life experience. How are they embodying these experiences that they're going through with these major stars and just doing it?" So training is 1. Having an open mind is 2. 3 is thinking outside the box. So in anything I do, I try to, bring it another way. Sometimes when you're in class, everybody has the same scene, the same lines. One activity that we do is there's a scene that's maybe you got a line, I got a line, you got a line, I got a line, and all of us have it, but we have to put ourselves in a different mindset so we can bring that character to life in our experiences. So I like to think outside the box. Pinch me moment. I think I want to say the biggest set I've ever been is American Gangster, and to see Denzel work and see the other stars there, and Common, and I forget who else was there, was maybe the pinch me moment, because Ridley Scott was the director on that. So I got a chance to meet him. I didn't really talk to him because I was extra. But just the pinch me moments are, for me, is when I see myself on screen or see myself on TV or see my name. Those are for me are the pinch me moments. I did a Packing Suburbia, an independent film, and when I seen Cauthen up there, and I see me doing my lines and my little improvs that I did and little quirks that I have, man, what you say? Actor crush. I mean, we have so many great actors. That's tough. You know, I would have to label myself a floozy. I love them all. You know, I want to be around them all. You know what I'm saying? They're all my favorites. I would give, you know, to have the opportunity to just work with them. That, you know, I sometimes I have to reel myself in because, you know, as Tone knows, when I'm filming, I might start laughing. I might start smiling too hard. When it's not so much I'm breaking character, it's the crackish in me and the get high of the situation it becomes overwhelming for me. So my nervousness is to smile and give joy. I think that I'm, you know, saying thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity. So there you go.
Okay. Go, Marcia, because I have a feeling Raj got some juice.
Oh no!
Raj got some juice. You go, Marcia.
All right. Well, in terms of my style, I don't know if I have any particular style.
Okay.
I have used a little bit of you know, as Cal just mentioned about, you know, a little bit of Marcia, a little bit of method, but a little bit of just some other things as well. So I can't say that I have any particular style that I use. I mean, I think I go with whatever that script or that character is. I try to, you know, incorporate a little bit of everything in those things in that particular role, depending on what that is. Actor crush. Well, of course, for years my actor crush was Denzel Washington. I just like the way I liked his swag. I liked how he just presented himself. But he's not the only one, though. I mean, there are a lot of actors out there that I don't know if crush is the right word, but I admire a lot. You know, both male and female. It's not, you know, it's not just, you know, on the male side. It's just on both male and female. I mean, I like Alfre Woodard. I like the way her style is. I like Cicely Tyson. And I like to be able to see actors who have a whole lot of different range as well. So I can't say I have anybody in particular. My pinch me moment actually happened when I was back in the 80s. This was staged for me. I was back home in Pittsburgh and I was working with a small repertory theater there. And I actually auditioned for, at that time, when we actually initially didn't get it, the role of Ruth for Raisin in the Sun, and didn't get it. I got the understudy part. And there was a little disappointment at first, but I was like, well, you know, I'm working full time. I tried to, you know, sort of kind of just not think about it. Well, when we had our first read through, and everybody had to be there, the people who were casted as well as the people who were understudies, and the director made a director's change, and she decided to put me in. and the role of Ruth. And at that time, we were doing Raisin and Son 25 years after Lorraine Hansberry had put it on stage, had written it. And Esther Roll was being brought in as the guest actress. And so she played the role of Mama. And I got the opportunities to spend a good 6 weeks, both in terms of us doing our rehearsals, which were brutal. And they were very brutal. That's when I really gained a real appreciation for acting at that point. And then us actually doing a 3-week run of the performance. And so for me, that was really sort of a pinch me moment, because I really had a chance to spend a lot of quality time and learn a lot from everybody who doesn't know who the late Esther Roll was, but she was Florida Evans in Good Times. And so that was a pinch me moment for me.
Yeah, Marcia was talking, and I was wondering if people realize some of the names she was throwing out there.
Yeah.
Because they're heavy hitters, right? We know, but yeah, I think if I want to use the word crush, I'm going to use it for the talent, and not so much how the person looks to me, but Samuel L. Jackson to Chris Tucker, believe it or not, both of them in their own veins. Even I think of actors, and it's interesting to me because there's so many moments or things they've done that I crush on. Like, man, they killed that, or that gave me this whole different insight how that character, or the nature of that character based off how that individual played them, and I love that, and I love that about certain actors that can bring that to us in life. And I'm like Cal, I'm kind of more like one of those floozy lushes, man. I'll be crushing a lot of folks' talents,
male and female.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like some of the names that even Marcia named, they're phenomenal. The female and male, it's not about gender, it's about bringing roles to life, right? And how that affects us emotionally at that moment in time, or psychologically based off of what type of thinker we are. I've had a few pinch me moments in my life. Back from music, when I toured with Outkast and we played, in front of tens of thousands, and at one point over 200,000 people in one show, and all I could see was a sea of heads. We were on this, it was like 16, 20-foot tall stage, and it was an outdoor venue, of course, and I swear to God, to the horizon, I saw heads, and it was a pinch me moment, like, all these people are here to see us, give them some entertainment and enjoyment, and it was, and then as recently as being on stage with Sean Hutchinson's production, Karma. When I came off stage and and after everything was said and we were supposed to come out, people were asking for my autograph, and that was like a pinch me moment. I was like, I didn't have the biggest character. Apparently I touched someone or a few people enough to where they were like, hey, can, and then like Cal said, seeing some moments like when I saw myself on an NBC, even though I had one line, there I was, on a major network station. Or every now and then I could just, click to Netflix and find myself in this roles or whatever. It is a pinch me moment because, we try hard and we do what we do. And it's not like, we've gained riches from these moments, but they're pinch me and like, give some validity to our efforts and our stride to be better and do more, in a nutshell. Oh, and as far as training techniques, we can learn a lot. I've read a lot of books, the Meisners, and there's so many different facets of training when it comes to acting. But you know what it comes down to? Bringing the realness to life. They say acting isn't really acting. If you're acting, then you're not really doing it right. It's like live it, be it. If you could be it, then acting is just part of your title of what you're doing, but the people are going to see the realness of that character. For that's, I think, a challenge is for a majority of anybody getting into the game is that really they're trying to act. Well, you got to stop trying to act.
Right.
How would you be?
Right.
If you can
I was
be
just looking up a teacher that I had at the New Federal Theater, which was downtown New York. He was a playwright as well. I was trying to find his name. And he did A Soldier Story with Denzel, Samuel Jackson, and all of them. And he was giving us stories and just enlightening us. As we are doing teaching now, be able to sit and listen with your ears.
Yes.
Judge Judy said God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So close your mouth and open your ears.
Absolutely.
There have been some real good people that have woven into the fabric of my life. And every experience that you have, whether it be for a moment or whether it be for years, or whether it's, two people passing at a given point. If I ever get a chance to talk to Denzel Washington, I'll say, hey, I was a bouncer at Cheetah Club in New York, and you were in the basement part of the club, and you were just sitting there by yourself, no security, no nothing. And I said to him, the best thing I think you can say to somebody is that, hey, I love your work, and leave it at that. And then if they want to engage, they'll engage. And he engaged. And we talked for a minute. I asked him, was he doing any classes or anything? And he said, no, I'm just here to do a project, blah, blah, blah. I said, I really appreciate your time. And I walked away. So there is a proper way if you're going to say something to somebody. One time I had the opportunity to shake Stevie Wonder's hand. I swear to God, he can see, because I stuck my hand out and he grabbed my hand before I grabbed his hand. I don't know. I think he can see. I think he's been playing all this time.
I played on the stage that he played on as well at the same time, and I felt the same way. I was like,
dude can see.
Dude
can see.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that, we're just, 4 human beings that have been walking this earth, and we all have different backgrounds and different experiences and things of that nature. You want to be able to embrace everybody, and the people that are not good for you, you get that, what they are and what they did, and you let them go. Sometimes you need to be put on an island by yourself in order to think outside your own box. Sometimes there's too much noise around you and people around you. When people are hating on you, when people are giving you false accolades and saying, hey, you'll never make it in the business, or your mother saying, Cauthen, are you making any money doing that? You just got to say, hey, I love you, Mom, but it's not your business.
Yeah.
So, I don't do it for the money. The money is nice, and the money that can be made is even better. But sometimes, and I've been on this walk for a long time. I've been on it, and it's not over. I got about another 42 years, because I can act until I'm 100. So, God bless me if I'm in my right state of mind. I can play any character. Don't let the gray fool you. I can shave it off and dye it black if I need to. And be 40 as opposed to 60. So be able to take what you need and leave the rest on the table. Don't get fat at one meal and eat everything. Take a pinch of this, take a pinch of that, take a pinch of that. That's what gives you the nourishment that you need, and be able to be open to the power of suggestion of positive people and your director.
Okay. Rod, you want to wrap it up?
I love everything everyone's saying. And I know a lot of this is like generalities, and a lot of actors maybe listening or folk that are on and be like, yeah, I've heard that, but how does it relate to me? It relates to you because you're going to come into these moments. You're going to come into life where you're going to question yourself. You're going to question where you're at. You're going to have the moments that make you, just feel happy and great about what you're doing, and moments where you question it. Just know what's meant to be will be. Be prepared. Study hard. Love what you do. If you stop loving it and you're forcing it, it's going to be forced, and it's not worth it.
The camera does not lie.
The camera does not lie, and
picks up everything.
And silence is gold. When you're not speaking, listen. I'm surprised I didn't say that before. I don't know if Marcia said it or Cal said it. They probably both said it. If Tone didn't even also as well. Listening is so crucial, because how can you be real if you don't hear what you need to be real to? You know, we study lines, but we don't even read the other person's lines sometimes. Are you kidding me? Stop that. Read the whole script. Understand what's going to be said to you and how that's going to make you feel. Because then if that other actor is real and you give them that, you give them your energy so they can give you that realness, oh, you can't come back but real. And if you ain't, it's because you ain't learned enough or you ain't worked it enough, and you'll get there if you really believe in yourself. But listen, and when someone says, my daughter just died, if your line is like, oh my God, I can't believe it, and you're like ready to say, oh my God, I can't believe it, and your face is showing that, when they're saying
Exactly.
that line, you really feel like you're going to be all hyped up to say what you're no, you're going to be feeling that line before you come into the moment. So listen, listen and react. If you react before you listen, you miss the mark sometimes, So work your craft, love it. If you don't love it, change it. And otherwise, be true to the game, study hard, love what you do things outside of the box. Like Cal said, you want to take classes, you want to take specific learning, works for you, great. If you're not, step outside of the box, because sometimes that's what it takes. And the director might see somebody like, yes, I didn't look at it like that, but I'm glad you did that. Now do that again. So
yeah, you want to be able to absorb what the person is saying. That's why writers put so much information in the notes, interior here, or the reaction is this, or the reaction is that. Even though they give you that, he's sad right now. Well, that's setting you up for the line that's getting ready to come. If somebody tells you your daughter just died, you're not gonna be like, oh my God, like Raj said. You're gonna be like,
what?
Yeah. You'll be stunned. I mean, it's sort of like how
exactly. You wanna take it in
to this person, right?
Like Tone said, take a moment, breathe. Take a beat. That's what beats are for.
Right.
Exactly.
Nugget, a beat. When it says a beat, that means pause.
Use it.
Take a beat. Use it. When it's got dot.
It's worthy.
Don't cut it off. Let it marinate.
Right.
Because when you marinate something, don't it? Ain't it good?
It's good.
It's some good stuff.
That's right.
Well, look at good, guys. I'm so grateful that you accepted and joined in with me today.
Anytime.
I love to keep going because you got some good stuff here. But we had 4 other actors that was going to chime in, and I want to give them the opportunity to share some juice as well.
Bravo.
Actors continue to either chime in or new ones come in, or that you are able to even chime in. Interesting thing is they're the younger group. I don't know how this is God's way of doing things, but the ones that chimed in this one, you're kind of like the older actors I've worked with before. Well, the next group is the younger group, surprisingly.
Wow.
So I'm
maybe that's the bond right there.
They must be in their 50s or 60s or whatever.
Whatever. So it's going to be an exciting, fun, interesting journey to see the transition from here to their energy level, to their input on how they're growing in this industry as well. So I kind of feel like it's kind of working out the way it was supposed to work out, because you gave out some good juice for actors, and even for me as a filmmaker to know your input. Like I always like to say, it's a team thing that we're working together for all this. Again, I want to say thank you. I would like to also offer in the future, 1, working together again, because I would love to do that. And then 2, depending on how this COVID continues on, I'd like to maybe arrange some one-on-one time to be able to get some more detail of your journey to kind of help some actors even more, because I think we can make this some real good teachable moments as we move forward, so that when we are open again to live life to whatever normal will be, they'll be ready to just dive in and do some things, whether it's going to be working with me or other filmmakers. Because for me, you're working with other filmmakers, and if something I can help learn, you learn as well as you teach, it's going to help them make their productions even better by choosing the right actors to work on their productions. Because, you know, we learn by what other filmmakers do and what they put out there. I know a lot of people want to say, Tony, you put too much out there. But if I didn't put too much out there, would you be paying attention to me? And we're giving you knowledge. So it's not too much information. It's what you need as much as what I need. We're a team, we're a family. Let's make it work together. So enjoy your time in quarantine, being home. I do have a script I will be posting soon for you to take and do your thing with, play with, monologue, create it with your own camera or cell phone, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to post them once you've done them. And I'm going to look at maybe the opportunity for you to work on one of my future projects. And we got a great deal coming up, and I'm excited. And I'm excited about each and every one of you. Raj, thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
Cal, thank you. And Miss Marcia Jones-Krause. This is the real Marcia Jones-Krause. Don't get her mixed up. I know there's a couple other actors out there with that name, but don't get it twisted. This is the real Marcia Jones-Krause.
Look,
guys, it was a pleasure. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you, Tony.
Blessings
All
to
right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
peace.